Today we have the Jara King and Queen.
Yes, so from the Jara Empire.
From the Jara Empire.
In Nigeria especially, if you see a business that works, you're like thinking, let me not think too far. This is the business I should do.
Not knowing everything that has gone into it.
I think I can do this too.
You have to be very resilient. You have to understand that it can be an exceptionally frustrating place, but you also have to get your kind of foundations in place.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen overnight. You know, when we started initially, we didn't know what we know today.
What we've wanted to offer and what we've always tried to offer is an international experience without going to the airport. So you've got an hour trip along the expressway, and then the biggest compliment I think we get is people just, where am I? Like, where is this place? This isn't Nigeria.
How did you guys meet?
Tinder.
I was so like, no chance. But it was almost like an experiment. Why don't you just sign up and see? My Nigerian mind was telling me this is a catfish. This is no chance, this is a catfish. Because I think there is always old white guys here. I don't expect to see a young white.
So, Jara, is that the pronunciation? Is it Jara, the Yoruba?
The Yoruba Jara.
Yes.
Okay.
Really? I was wondering that maybe there is a particular language or something.
That's interesting because you are Igbo.
I didn't come up with the name. He did.
And you are English, so
Very much so.
so please tell me.
So I think it was when we were just researching names. We wanted to make it a very authentic Nigerian business. It's Nigerian owned, Nigerian registered, and obviously serving Nigerian clientele. And the aim was what makes sense. And we just bounced it. To be honest with you, actually brainstorm wise, it was one of the first words I came up with, because the whole offering is all inclusive and about getting extra when you're having your beach experience. And that obviously ties in with the word Jara, from both Yoruba and Hausa origins. It means like to add extra, so add Jara. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think even the Jara is not actually originally Yoruba.
I'm so sorry.
Yes,
I'm just gonna
yes,
taking
it's actually not
over a Hausa word. Oopsies.
It's the Hausas when they come around and they say, okay, give me Jara. That's how this Jara thing. But you know, I think Yoruba just adopted it. Everybody thinks
It sounds very Yoruba, like the tonal, like Jara. Or did we make that?
No,
Is that how you say it?
No, I think they call it Jara, and I think the Yoruba accent just dominated. Yeah, how it's called, and that's why you think it's Yoruba. It's actually Yoruba.
I genuinely
it's actually
did.
From the north.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's Jara now, but we're gonna go into the pre-Jara story. Okay, so on that note, welcome to the Japada Podcast. My name is Mololua, and I'm joined by my mother. Hi, mother.
Hi, daughter, and I'm still at Inoke.
And today we have the Jara King and Queen.
Yes, so from the Jara Empire.
From the Jara Empire in the building.
Yes.
We have an amazing, like, a cool couple. I like you guys.
Yeah.
I quite like you guys. You guys
Like it too.
you guys are quite cool. Yeah, thank you for liking me. My mom dragged me into this. Like, I think she was saying to you guys because she needed the me effect. So I'm happy for her.
We need your generation on
the generational input as well. Fair enough. Anyways, we're really happy to have you both, Millie and Mark. Thank you for joining us. We're going to jump right in, aren't we, mother?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. So let's sort of hear the beginnings, right? Where were you guys sort of mentally when the idea of Jara begun?
Thank you, first of all, for having us. It's wonderful to be here. I think, in short, I would say a crossroads, actually. 6 years ago, we'd been married for, I guess, 4 years. We'd had a baby who was around 1 year. And my corporate job that I was working 5 years plus for...
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria, yeah. I was working for a Swiss-owned business, media platform that's pretty popular still today. And ultimately I could tell that journey was coming to an end. And then it was more a case of ultimately what next. But then we were weighing up. I had a couple of job offers after a few interviews. And then we decided to we always had this dream a little bit. We loved the beach. We spent most of our weekends at our little beach shack in Aleko. It was made of bamboo. And we would go there just ourselves, or we'd bring friends, and then it started to be something that our local community would also enjoy. Friends, they would come, they'd bring their meats, and we'd have a guy who'd put water in the swimming pool and cook their lunch. It was a very simple offering at that point, and then it was just the simple problem at the time is that we didn't want the beach days to end. So I've told this story a few times, and it's part of our history on our board in our lounge, but we had a walk along one random weekend along the coast, and it was 5 minutes away from what was Little Zanzibar, which is the name of our beach hut. And we saw this pre-loved property, and it was a light bulb moment, really. We said maybe we could do something with this. So rather than go back or continue my corporate journey, I always wanted to do something myself or ourselves, and the timing was right, and we had a lot to risk, but we did feel that really with 6 rooms at the time in this building in a mega city of Lagos is 20 plus million people, although not everyone would be a Jara clientele, we thought 6 rooms could be filled and we could maybe cover our costs, and if it doesn't work out we move to the beach and live in Aleko. So that was kind of how it started in 2019.
Right. That means, I can't lie, it sounds like you guys were quite financially comfortable, because if you were in a position where you're just like, we're going to give this a good go because we're passionate about it, but if it doesn't work out, we'll move to Aleko and we'll chill by the beach. That sounds like soft life to me.
Well, I think again we had Millie was in her corporate aviation job.
Oh, you were also corporate.
She was fully working full time, and then I had some savings from that previous role, and also I'd been working for 10 plus years. So whether they say comfortable or maybe we had the opportunity to do so, but we also took on a few personal loans to get us over the line when it came to opening. So we stretched ourselves sufficiently to make this business work.
And I think importantly, we also started quite small.
Mm-hmm. Very small.
So we actually had to negotiate with the owner of the building that we initially bought, and then later expanded. But our initial building was 6 rooms. And I remember we didn't have the full amount, to pay for, that building. So we had to tell him, can you give us a few months to complete this payment? Mm-hmm. Because we had to look at our finances and be like, okay, we can't put everything in now. Mm-hmm. We still have to renovate. We still have to build a pool. There's so many costs, we had to consider. And because we were making this switch, Mark not having a job, that was a big thing, because his earning was a lot more than than mine, but I still maintained my job because we were not fully 100% like comfortable to say, hey, let's both leave our jobs and just wait to see what Jara does. And we also wanted to give Jara an opportunity to breathe. Mm-hmm. We didn't want to start taking money out. Okay. So I think I stayed from 2019 till 2021. I was still in my job. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't take a salary for the first 12 to 18 months.
I didn't take any salary either, because whilst I was flying, that salary obviously helped us to get by. Yeah. And we wanted to make sure we continue to reinvest money into Jara, because after COVID, there were things that we wanted to improve. We became quite popular. We're like, okay, we need to do stuff. So we needed to put money back in. We were not taking money and having a ball at that time. Maybe we're a bit more confident now. The business is profitable, but we didn't start that way. Yeah.
So you're a pilot?
No, I'm a flight attendant actually.
Okay.
So I was.
You said flying, so I was trying to gauge
what type of flying you fly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I was a flight attendant since I was 19 years old. Okay. So I did that for 17 years. Really passion job. Absolutely loved it. Amazing experiences. Traveling everywhere, and also getting to be on that side of hospitality where I was serving. Yeah. I learned to serve. I learned how to host people, and that was just part of what I did my life.
So Jara is also very lucky to you have brought all that experience and training into Jara as a business, right? Even though we're still talking about Jara, but I want to dial back. How did you guys meet?
Tinder.
In Nigeria
in Nigeria.
Yeah, brave.
Are you kidding?
You people are very brave.
I know.
This is.
I think Tinder has changed, to be honest, because
Okay, maybe.
I was not. I was exactly how. I mean, for me, Tinder was a no-no, and I have to say, it was someone who also was coming back from the UK,
Okay.
and we went to school together, and she said to me, "Oh, you're not dating. Have you tried Tinder?" I was like, "Me? No way. I can't do that." In fact, if I tell my mom will say, "What? No, you're not that desperate. You can't go online." So I was so like, no chance. But it was almost like an experiment. Why don't you just sign up and see? And you can't believe it. That first experiment.
Was it?
3 days I was on Tinder and I signed up because we had our first date and that was the end of it.
I was on there for a bit longer.
Years on now.
10 years we've been together.
10 years, yeah.
Honestly, even when I saw his picture, it's one of those things. My Nigerian mind was telling me, this is a catfish. This is no chance, this is a catfish. Because I think there is always old white guys here. I don't expect to see a young white man. And it wasn't as if I was looking for someone in particular. I just saw him and his profile seemed interesting, and I just thought, why not? And then he said, let's go have a coffee. And I was like, okay. I told a friend of mine, I said, please, can you come? Because I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back.
I don't know. Maybe if I walk in, I don't see him, I run out. And my friend was very busy at work. She couldn't make it. So she messages me, and I'm already in a car park,
Oh my god.
of this restaurant. And I'm like, oh no, do I still go in? Like, okay, what's the worst that could happen?
I know.
And I peep in, and I see him sitting there. I'm like, okay, he looks like the picture. What's that? Yeah, he kind of interviewed me for,
Oh, he interviewed.
he interviewed me for us, I think he was very intentional, He was like asking me all the questions.
I think I was equally surprised by who this unicorn-esque person was on this app. So I think, and then we just clicked very, very quickly. And I think on that Monday or Tuesday night we met, I think, and then we met every other day after that, and that was it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We're in different circles. Aviation has a very, close-knit
Yeah.
circle
I
of
think they're
people
so
that
tight and
have
security
to-
conscious and all that. So,
And also, I think that not everybody understands the schedule. You're always flying, so you tend to be friends with people from the same industry.
Yeah.
And he was completely different. I've never seen him before, and he's been in Nigeria already for a number of years. So we just never crossed paths, and I guess Tinder was just something that was meant to be for us to come together.
wow. Wow, that's interesting.
Wow. Yeah. In Nigeria, I feel like it's in Nigeria. It's not even necessarily because it's online dating. It's just the fact that it's in Nigeria.
Have you heard any bad stories, or?
No, it's just even meeting people physically in Nigeria itself is a risk.
Generally for her, anything online, it's like
No. It's just
you
I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's in Nigeria. Do you get what I mean? It's like it's online dating in Nigeria. It's like, wow, okay. Let's just go. Like you say, let's just hope I don't get kidnapped as a result. But
We were surprised.
he kidnapped your heart.
Yes.
And there you go. Oh, that's such a cool story. Like,
Both of you are brave, though. Yeah. So try
Fortune favours, right? The fortune favours the brave. You have to kind of be in it to win it, and if you don't know, then that's why it's worth a try, and at least in a controlled, confined way. It wasn't too risky. We were going to La Taverna.
okay, fair enough. Oh, that's cute.
So prior to you meeting
Millie.
yes, Millie, if you want to describe your Nigerian experience generally, not just corporate, right, with the people, because I'm sure how would you describe that?
It's been amazing. I mean, I came originally in 2008, so after I graduated. So I've been here, or at least had a story with Lagos for 18 odd years. I went back to the UK for a couple of years. I did some travel. And I came back in the beginning of 2013. So I've been back here 12, 13 years already. And it's home. It's where I feel I belong, although I'm still waiting on the passport. And that makes me feel a little bit sort of...
Another thing that I hear that, especially when it is the man. Yeah. Wow.
I'm not sure how many hoops and how long I have to... They keep changing the rules. And there is a strange feeling because having been out the UK for this long, I don't feel necessarily that UK is where I belong either, of course. So it's been a long enough time, but yeah, I mean, I've had an amazing time. I've met so many good people. I was sort of amazed, I think, initially about effectively the riches of Lagos in 2008 when I was a young postgraduate who was enjoying the nightlife and the club scene and all these big bottles of champagne and the boat days to the beach houses, and it was very hard to beat. And then I'd go back to grey and wet West Country in the UK, and I'd be like, maybe I need to be back where the enjoyment is, and that's why I always knew I'd return, but I didn't know at what point and in what capacity. And I came back initially for a kind of dual offer with a compressed natural gas business at the time, but also to open a bar, which was in VI. So it was a sort of dual effort, and so it was kind of the opportunity, then the gas, and then the enjoyment with the bar, and then that led to what was this Swiss company that I worked for, which then led on to what we're doing today.
Yeah, clearly you have a rich experience.
I'm interested in you accepting to come to Nigeria fresh out of uni. Did you say like a fresh graduate? Like, was Nigeria always on your radar?
No, but Africa was. So my own backstory is my uncle has been in Tanzania for 45 years. And so when I was very young, 6 initially was my first intro into Tanzania. I was very lucky, fortunate to have some family holidays there, safaris, etc. And it was very much ingrained. Be my immediate family and then grandparents on both sides, and we had some incredible times. And I always knew I wanted to come back to Africa, but didn't know in what capacity or where. And I think 20 years ago, it was the East Africa felt a little bit quieter, a bit slower compared to what was Lagos, and the opportunity was a bit random in a sense. But my older brother, he's 6 years older than me. He was at Oxford Brookes University in the UK, and his neighbour in Freshers Week is a Nigerian chap called Obi. So they almost, the rest is history, but they became very good friends, and then they had a business after uni and did a couple of other things together, and one of them was the company that I came to work for. And my brother, who was, I think, recently married at the time, said, do you want to go and run the office in Lagos? And I thought, why not? So it was really, that was the journey, and that's what made me come here in the first place. Okay,
so your family also, obviously, if you guys had gone on family holidays to Tanzania when you were younger, your family wasn't horrified? You said
no, I think my mum said, oh, I love shit. And we're very close today, and we're very close at the time, but even living a couple of miles apart from each other. And she said, how long are you going to be away for? And I said, 6 months, 18 months maximum. And here I am 18 years later. Yeah. But they understand it, they get it. They've been here quite a number of times.
They're coming back again next year, hopefully. Yeah, they've been maybe 6 times now. So, I mean, not everybody comes to Lagos. You know, they're in their 70s, and they really make an effort to be here, and they love it. Yeah, they would love to be a part of our life, and what we do here. So.
Wow. I think it's really cool that you come from such an open-minded background. Cool. And that makes sense now, because I was like, of all places to accept an international offer like Nigeria, I don't know if it's the first place that comes to most people's minds. Right?
But actually, there's a lot of work to do. It's a whole nother topic about tourism and welcoming people here. But of my friends and family that have been here, everyone completely understands why I'm here and have really enjoyed it. I had a milestone birthday in January this year, so my father, my uncle, my brother came over, and then I had a few friends in the following months come and enjoy for long weekends, and they loved it. It was great. We got a proper window into our world and what I do and what I enjoy, and the beach and five-a-side football and nightlife and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was great.
This is cool. I'm liking this.
Yes, honestly, yeah.
Hi guys, hope you're enjoying this episode.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Now back to the video.
Moving on to couple experience as a couple, doing business together, and still doing life outside.
Yeah, wow.
How's that?
You know what? I see it as such a blessing. I think we're very lucky. We're very lucky because we connected on, so many things from the beginning when it comes to vision of how we see our life, together. And having adventures, traveling, being very close-knit, it's just who we are. So I think starting a business, of course, there is challenges because we are talking about business a lot, as you can imagine. We are always, and this business is not the kind of business that you switch off, close your laptop and go home. This is 24/7. You have to be on it. But there is so much that both of us, add to the business. He has his, strength, and he's definitely amazing. And, operationally, he does all of that. And then I can do the hospitality side or creativity side. And we kind of, connect and just make it all seamless. And I think because there's two of us, we don't always agree on everything. And then we end up and then butting heads, and we end up with the best decision. Because we're like, okay, well, how about we meet in the middle? Okay, we don't do this, let's do this. And honestly, it's been such an asset. I don't know why, people do seem to be a bit skeptical. And maybe in Nigeria a lot, also our culture.
That's what I want to say, because I'm sure that, the fact that our culture, how do you marry, decision making, respecting boundaries. This is my area. This is my area. Respect decisions I'm making from this angle, not because I'm married to you, but because this is my professional hat that I'm putting on here. And so that's why it's a bit tricky. And seeing you, I'm rooting for you, because I'm hoping to see you one day, that people will put you on that stage and say, come and start telling us how people can marry marriage and business together,
Yeah, I have to say, my father is Nigerian, my mother is Russian. My dad was a businessman. And initially when both of them met, they were in Ukraine, and my dad did business, he traveled. He really, because he's a traditional Igbo man, he wanted his wife to stay at home. She was a housewife, for many years. When we lost our dad, I really saw the drawback of that mindset. That decision really impacted the family. Right. Because then, 25 years later, my mom was now on her own. And, he's no longer there to support the family. And I always had that, I think subconsciously, at the back of my mind, that Millie, look, this is not the best way. There is another way. You and your husband should have an opportunity to grow and develop in marriage. Whether we were going to do this, at that time, we didn't know that they were going to have a joint business. But I knew that he was the type of person that would support me in everything. He wasn't someone that when I met him, he said, oh, you're flying. Oh, okay. You're going to have to stop doing that. He said, this is amazing. This is exciting.
Perks.
I loved it.
That you question my business.
Yeah. So it was like, yeah, go ahead. I mean, we had our daughter in 2018. And I went back to work 3 months later, flying. And I remember just being in tears. My first flight, we're going to Cape Town. And I'm like, just on the plane crying. And I love my job, but I know I don't want to leave my child. And he would just be sending me pictures, feeding her and everything, So you can imagine 2021, that's 3 years of, me still flying while she was growing. And he was running the business and still hands-on with her. So there is, that understanding and being on the same page and being supportive is one of the secrets of, being successful at the end of the day, whether it is in marriage and business or both. Yeah, you have to support each other where you feel like you need to step in.
Absolutely.
Mark, do you remember a big disagreement you guys have had? Just generally, it could be Jara specific or just inclusive of Jara, whatever, and how you resolved it, because it's just, practicalizing that balance of marriage and business. Like, I want to hear a real life experience. Do you remember any? Obviously, the resolution is the important part, but you'd have to tell us what the disagreement was.
I guess that's the reason why people think it's very tricky for couples to do business together.
Yeah, because it'll be interesting to see how they
disagreeing to agree on a particular thing.
Probably helps us is the fact that we born the business together. So it wasn't like it was my business and then like she came in or vice versa. So the fact that we were there together from day one, working, talking, planning, dreaming, that was all something we shared equally. In terms of argument, I mean, when Mill said about we might disagree a lot and then we'll meet in the middle, it doesn't happen that frequently. It's slightly more leaning towards her side
You're
for
a
peace.
smart man.
But actually, she is phenomenal, and actually, there's a lot of times that even in my own mind and my own growth, I think, well, no, that's not right. And then actually, as we work it through, I'm thinking that's a better idea, and we should have gone with that in the first place. So I think even we had a fight a week or two back, which lasted a few hours more than it needed to. But again, it's not unique.
I'm very stubborn though,
and that's a big part of it.
Yeah, and it's real life as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like when people like you guys, sit in front of cameras or whatever and just like paint this perfect picture, I just don't think it's realistic.
No, it's not. I mean, it's not. But I think there's a big part of it where I wouldn't say we don't separate things necessarily. Like, our life is our business, it is our family, it is together, not necessarily in that order, but for me it's just a big mesh of everything, and it just works. It's not that we say, in the same way when you see things online about a couple going to do some strategy session in a hotel lobby or whatever they do, and that's how they plan their year. That's not what we do. We're just kind of, again, if we manage to grab 5 minutes here to talk about one topic, and if we manage to get through a Netflix without falling asleep, then maybe we'll talk about something else. But we're very motivated. This year alone with Jara, we've been busier, and we've invested in the business more than ever, and actually we're prouder than ever of it as a location, having made a lot of the changes we've done this year, and that culminated in this event we had last weekend, which is a real sort of moment of pride for us. But again, when it comes to arguments, I think again, we just need to make sure we always make time for each other. I think even yesterday we went out, and then we had it might have been a time after the kids went to bed to put the TV on, but we were just chatting until it was time to go to sleep, and that's it. Yeah. So I don't think there's a time really where I think, and even that argument last week or the week before,
you've forgotten already.
I can't even remember what it was about. So
honestly, I'm even struggling. I'm like last week, and I'm just here thinking, what happened? What really happened?
Yeah, it couldn't have been that.
Yeah, because that's why it's good. When you know that the end goal is that you love each other and you want to be together and you want to just squash it and you want to move on.
And it's still about this one team. We are working towards this one team. Yeah,
that doesn't change. If the main foundation of your relationship doesn't change, all those things are just distractions. Yeah. And once in a while, of course, you're going to argue, because when he talked about sometimes finding time when we're at home, because we design our own work structure and work schedule. If I'm at home, I can't avoid being with the children. My nanny is there. We are blessed to have her. However, my children want me. Yeah. And you know how they're small? They want mommy, mommy, mommy. Yeah. So he will say, Millie, we still need to do this audit. We still need to... I'm like, just kidding. And the whole day has passed. I'm still with the dinosaurs. So I know that sometimes I'm taking him back, or
they're not moving as fast as you guys are planned.
But at the end of the day, when we sit down and he's now like, we still need to get this data. And I'm like, okay, I understand, but okay. But that's, again, a blessing as well, because we can do that. Not everybody can do that. And when I had my flying job, I didn't own my time. So I feel like I'm taking that back now. Yeah. After 17 years of being on someone's schedule, let's go, because corporate flying is quite demanding. Now I feel like it's the time for me to be able to be flexible. And I'm thankful that we can do that.
And that's the benefit of you being a business owner anyway. So it's better you do that, yeah. Now going to Nigerian reality check. Pressure. Running business in Nigeria. Thinking about infrastructure, power, logistics, hiring people, and all that. How have you guys been able to do that? Because that's one of the things that are scary for people, and for you guys to, like she said, it's as if you guys make it look as if there isn't so much, but we know there will be
a lot behind the scenes.
There's a lot behind the scene.
So someone was asking me about this in the week, and I kind of realized it's almost like a Stockholm syndrome that I have with Lagos. And I say Lagos because it's mainly where my life is. It is Nigeria, but certainly our life is in a bit of a bubble and along the axis of Lekki Expressway. But it's that feeling of it is so hard. I mean, you can't sort of dust it off or make a rose-tinted sort of approach to how it is to create and to operate here. It is incredibly, incredibly hard. But then I thought, when someone says, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And I thought, well, actually, if I went anywhere else, it would probably be so boring. Like, to the point of, even now, when the challenges of generate everything you have to do, we're a hotel operator, but we also have to be understanding the full power setup, understanding how a generator works, make sure we don't get ripped off when it comes to the maintenance and the servicing, in addition to all the other utilities, in addition to the infrastructure and the logistics and the road and everything else that makes it so hard to operate. And I thought, well, actually, even now it's this challenge where if I did go somewhere else, there wouldn't be that buzz. It would all be a bit too easy, and then how would I fill my time? So that's how I feel now. Whether I feel like that in 5 or 10 years' time is another matter. But for now, it's there's a lot of reward in making sure that we improve ourselves, we progress. Something as simple as the concert last week. Our biggest thing was we're fully off grid, no grid power whatsoever. But hopefully our generators will hold up with all these loud speakers and big lights and everything else. And by the end of it, that was actually whenever we were enjoying, but it was also, there was no blackout, there was no darkness, and that was something that would have impacted and affected the event, but it was fantastic. So, but again, that comes down to progress and development and in investment and making sure that we're prioritizing in the right areas. And I think that's testament to the fact we've done that. So, but anyone listening or anyone thinking about it, you have to be very resilient. You have to understand that it can be an exceptionally frustrating place, but you also have to get your kind of foundations in place. And life is a lot easier when the banks work and the data works, and you can send a message without worrying. And once those things are in place, then you can still move forward.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen overnight. When we started initially, we didn't know what we know today. Some of the materials we used, even in the beginning, I remember we came in and we were really inspired to do this wooden terrace, keeping the place rustic, simple, and just because of the view of the ocean, because we are very, very close to the ocean. We wanted to keep that terrace, and the wood, within just a couple of months started to expand, and it was not the vision that we had initially. And we realized that also the rainy season, that was another factor. So the wood starts to rot as well, because we had a lot of wooden furniture. So we started to adjust our, ideas and say, okay, I think we're going to have to rebuild this terrace because it's no longer safe. Okay, now we're going to have to put a cement, like a proper foundation in there, and we decided to go for tiles because we just knew that wood is just not going to cut it if we want something that's going to last. And then, of course, even with electricians and, the power was a big situation for us that we had to invest heavily in, because initially when we started we had a smaller generator. Then you grow, we now have 4 generators. We have 2 big ones, we have 2 smaller ones. So we have this system, and we have a contract with a company that handles our power. So they have electricians on site. We've had to, we have over 150 solar panels. A room that we built for an inverter batteries, because it needed air conditioning to ensure that it is safe, because we've had to replace those things. The salt water in the air corrodes everything, including your generators, even your TVs. Even your TVs, yes, it goes into the panels inside because it's in the air. The salt is in the air. The humidity is constant. So, for example, in our outdoor spaces, like our gazebo, we have a TV and it's inside like a cage. It's not a cage, it's like a glass box. Because we replaced so many that even the company that supplies us, they said they're not giving us warranty anymore. Because they said, guys, where do you take this? What do you do with these things? We said, we're taking it to the beach. They said, okay, no more warranty. Because we can't continue replacing your electronics. So you can imagine in terms of capital intensive. When people talk about pricing, we're like, it has to make sense. It has to be something that we can actually manage this business and sustain this business. It can't be cheap. It can't be a cheap experience. You know what I mean? It has to be something that we can afford to have a system where we have power. And we also came up with a schedule because we knew that we cannot run generators throughout. We didn't want to run generators throughout. If we said, now let's run generators throughout and then we put a price on it. Yes, it's possible. It's not like we can't do that. However, what is our vision for this business? Do we want to hurt in the environment to that extent that we just continue this noise pollution and all the chemicals, and that's not what Jara is. So we said, even in the beginning, it wasn't like we said, oh, we're going to have this eco-friendly business. We admire that, we love that. It's but we kind of fell into that because we realized we had to sustain the business and respect the environment that we're in, because that's the only way. Yeah.
So actually, we've got light throughout. We've got hot water and ACs 15 hours out of 24. But 6 years ago, that's what we started with, and that's what we have today. And a lot of people at the start didn't understand it, didn't agree with it, but we had to be very kind of consistent and clear with what that was. And again, for the reasons Millie mentioned, but also, again, it's almost better to consistently provide 15 hours, knowing that you'll get a cool night's sleep and hot water before you go to bed and when you wake up, versus suggesting it'll be 24 hours, which a lot of places do, and then you go there and there's no light at all. So we've managed and we've controlled, and we saw ahead of what the challenge might be with that, and we made it work for ourselves, but with a view that we still have a decent offering for our guests.
I want to ask about your staff and hiring staff, because I've heard that's an extreme sport in Nigeria. Even just from the few service providers that I interact with as an individual, like a tailor or something, even me, Seth, I know that I have to come prepared to this interaction, not to sort of hiring staff to, I suppose, help you run a business, right? And kind of be an extension of you, in the way that they interact with your clients. How did you guys go about that, or grow to where you are in terms of the quality of your staff?
So we started with about 11. Today we're at, I think, 54 at Jara, and which is a sizable number. I'm actually, again, partly this year has been a good year, but we're probably prouder and more pleased with our staff strength than we've ever had. But there's a core number. I think we did a recent survey, and a third of our team have been with us for over 3 years, which is solid, very, very decent. There's about a third who've been with us beyond 18 months, and then there's the other third who have basically been with us for the last kind of 6 months. And stat-wise, I used to say it at interviews, I've not said it for a while, but for the 54, 55 people we have, we've dismissed 500 plus probably in that period.
Really?
Yeah. And in 6 years of operation, and it is another very, very, very hard element and hard department. Again, in our industry, we don't necessarily look for certificates, we don't look at sort of educational background. It's more we're looking for warm characters with good personality, good energy, good character, people that understand service, people that understand what we're trying to produce. And it is very, very tough in this industry. There's a period where, or an element of staff who, even if they've been with us for a while and we've experienced it, still don't necessarily acknowledge the terms of their contract, and they might just take their salary and they leave, even if they've been with us for a while and they're very much aware of the fact they might have a 1 week's notice, but they still won't choose to let us know a week in advance in order for us to plan around it, in order for them to get paid in full. As I say, I think where we are now with the amount of staff that we've got who are longer term, they seem to get that and they understand it, and we do a lot to develop them, to invest in them, quarterly training days, external trainings. The penultimate training day we had, we got a professional dancer to come in and do sort of dance things with them. On a previous one, we sent our staff, a number of them, for first aid training. On the most recent one, we got the Lagos State fire safety people to come, and they're in the car park using the fire extinguishers to put out fire. So just constantly improving our experience, but developing them as well. And I think the staff who understand that and see that are the ones that are staying with us longer term.
Yeah, and I think that it's also important to have a structure, no matter how small your business is. And because of our background, I mean, I worked in private aviation, but it was very structured. So I had my pension, I had my, I was paying my taxes. So that was part of my life and my understanding of work structure, how it should be. So when we started, that's how immediately we started with our 11 people. We registered them. We made sure that we're paying our PAYE for our taxes. We made sure that we have a medical insurance, right? Even if it's basic for the individual, because we feel like we're not there yet, We're not a big bank or an oil company, but we can't have our people sick and they can't afford to go to the hospital, right? That to me is a basic thing. And people shy away from those things because they're like, let me not spend much money. They like this cash in hand, which we never did. From the beginning, we employed people through the company and made sure that those things were in place. Pension, you must have your pension. And we actually take the time to explain the benefits of that. Because I say to them, I said, look, I know the savings I have on my pension. And I believe that that is important for you to prepare for your retirement.
Security.
Exactly. And a lot of people believe, pension. It doesn't work in Nigeria.
Oh.
They've taken my money. In fact, they used to think that we're taking their money.
Money, yeah.
Until we
remitting, yeah.
Yes, we insisted that they all make sure that their numbers, they're receiving text messages. Then they can, sometimes the providers will visit us at Jara to explain to them, right? And now they're understanding that that money goes in there. So you see, some of the staff that we've been able to retain, they really see the benefit. Every year we add a bonus. So every year you get an extra. If it's 1 year, your bonus is X amount. Then it multiplies with each year.
Okay.
Even though we're not big, that structure helps people plan. They know they can rely on us to pay their salaries on time. We've never delayed a salary for once. That's not, and I think that from what I've experienced myself, I'm very happy because the companies I worked for were excellent. I had really great experiences. But I hear stories, people not paying on time, it being like, it's okay now, I forgot. And I'm not like, that is not how, but you have a family. So we feel responsible for our people. Let's say we're paying on a particular day of the month. And before that day, 2 days beforehand, he's busy preparing payroll, sending all the notes, making sure that everything is intact. It's not something that we take lightly. No matter what is happening, no matter where we are, even if we're traveling with the children, that's something that must happen. We won't say, don't worry, when we come back after our enjoyment. Because I can't imagine how are the families feeding, how are staff coming to work, and of course, even feeding, at work, those are things we built up to. For example, when we know that we have very low season and we don't have a lot of guests, feeding is not included. However, during our busy period, full house weekends, we're feeding our team. So again, what makes sense for our business? We had to sit down and say, we have 55 staff. If you have 2 rooms and you have 4 people on site, are we going to just be making staff food every day?
Well, it allows them to feel the benefit and also the pain points as well. So, and they move with the business so they celebrate when things are good, and when things are a bit tougher, we're all kind of in it together.
Yeah. So that's why this is just kind of the raw truth of this is how we do things that make sense for us and then makes us feel that we're doing our own part. And I think that that's fair. At least everyone that comes in, we explain to them, they have their contract. Some people are coming from places they've never signed a contract before in their life. They're like looking at us like, why are these people making this too complicated?
Yes. I think your both background, corporate experiences has helped this business. Helping you to start right, and the way you started small, but you started right, and directly or indirectly, you're contributing to the hospitality sector, because the staff that have worked with you or that will leave, they are living with certain expectations or certain standard and limit, and that's how you're influencing the industry.
Well, we get a few guests pinch our guys as well, so that they were not immune to that. But it's also it's a testament to the fact we've got good people and we're training them, and invariably we've had quite a number of them either want to come back again or at least sort of thank us for the time that we've spent.
Sometimes they apologize because they know, but that's part of the industry. When people are visiting and they're seeing how hard they're working or how well they're trained, they're like, I'm starting a business. That's another thing, that we have this trend here. I guess, people are traveling a lot more now. This is like, a different time. So you get inspired by all your experiences. But in Nigeria, especially, if you see a business that works, you're like thinking, let me not think too far. This is the business I should do.
Exactly. Not knowing everything that has gone into.
I think I can do this too.
I can do this.
Come and work for me. Because I noticed this even in salons. You will be seeing one person, doing your treatment today. This same person is in another salon tomorrow. And you're like, wait, hold on. I know this face. So I think that is just part of life here, part of business here. People are struggling to get good hands. So they are willing to go
anywhere to poach. But the thing is that you can poach, but you will not be able to sustain or maintain if you don't have the structure and the systems in place, because that's what keeps them, and that's what keeps the wheel, rolling. Yeah, that's what. So moving to customer experience, which is your business. I'm a customer, and I'm coming to Jara, even if just for a day, because I understand you guys have, apart from the, sleeping. Oh, yeah. What would be expected? What would I expect as a customer for a day experience? And if you match the value that you're offering and what I'm parting with in Naira.
So I think what we wanted to offer and what we've always tried to offer is an international experience without going to the airport. So you've got an hour trip along the expressway, and then the biggest compliment I think we get is people just, where am I? Like, where is this place? This isn't Nigeria. And as much as Nigeria is amazing, this kind of beach experience that we provided, from anything, the first touch point of your inquiry, to the detail on the website, to how you're going to be handled via WhatsApp or telephone, to our booking system, everything we've kind of improved, and everything we do is about guest experience. That's the only thing we focus on. And over the 6 years, it was more like, okay, what are people complaining about, or what do we need to work on? And that's still the case now, from eliciting feedback from guests to ensuring that our staff try to communicate as much as possible, particularly proactively in case there's any issues. But it should be a flawless experience from start to finish. And I think even just if you see our reviews, I think 90% of the reviews is all about our staff. And it's the staff, it's the people that make the memories for the experience. People come when they come to Jara. It's not necessarily, they might remember the cocktail they've had, they might remember a dinner, they may or may not remember the rooms, but they definitely remember how they were treated, how they were sort of served, and that experience that our guys can give.
Yeah. So in one day I come in, what the first touch point, what do I get? And in terms of activities, the food, because I've heard you guys talk about food, and so what do I expect?
So if you've made your inquiry, you will typically make a booking and then receive your confirmation email. So if you're coming for a day visit, you will be told that it's from 12 to 6 o'clock. When you arrive, you will get a nice juice and a cold flannel, and then you get a tour. So one of our guest service team members will take you around the facility and actually show you everything, tell you a little bit about the history of Jara, and make you feel welcome, make sure that you know where to go and what to do. We have our lunch served between 1 and 3 o'clock, so typically they would take your order and start preparing your meal. You can choose a location where you want to have your meal. Yes, and then our team are really amazing. So if you want to play games, and let's say you're coming alone, right? You can play games with them, So they can teach you some of our sandy games. They can play pool, they can play table tennis with you, they can play pickleball. So they just want you to have a great time. Then you should have your lunch, listening to some nice music, watching the ocean, people taking photos. At 4:30 we have our sweet treats, so you'll hear an announcement that goes on our speakers that says you can come to the top shop and get a sweet treat. So you can choose from a variety of chocolates or ice creams. Then you pick one, then that's a nice treat to have. Throughout the day we have a snack station that's open, so your teas, your coffees, and your snacks, all sorts of snacks, mostly Nigerian made snacks, we really focus on that, are available. And then you can have that at any time that you want. It's all inclusive, so you're not paying anything extra. And then of course 5 o'clock, the golden hour, you can still enjoy your time by the beach, walk around. There's other things that you can book that are extras, apart from what's already included.
Are basic that comes
exactly. You might decide to do a tie-dye t-shirt. You might want to do adire. So our guys are trained. So what we did was that we actually trained our housekeeping team, and they know how to dye adire. We had a trainer come from Nikkei Art Gallery, because I did my training there. I was so fascinated. I've always been fascinated by adire, I wouldn't lie. I love things that we can say it's our own. And, you know, there's not a million things, like the things that are really our own. And when they did the training, I went for it and I was like, we need to teach our guys. Because I don't think I'm a teacher yet. Like this particular one, I'm not perfect, you know, so let me get somebody in. So they're very good, and they teach any new staff that comes in, they teach them too. And so that's something that you can experience if you want to go horse riding. We have our partner, you know, guys that do horse riding on the beach, which is another lovely one. There's spa.
Yeah, white painting. So there's enough to give you entertainment.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. Yeah, it's up to you.
Because I just want the audience to know that you have a lot that you're offering here. So that if anyone wants to, wherever you're coming from, even if when you're touching down in Nigeria, you know, that's one place that you can,
You can do very little and you can do a
so
lot.
much. Depends on the time that you have at hand to actually spend there. Yeah.
So we're going to do a couple of, well, not a couple, a few rather, quick fire truth or myths. So just tell me, like off the top of your head, don't think about it too much. I'll say a statement and you tell me whether you think it's a truth or a myth. Okay. Running a business together strengthens marriage.
Truth.
Wow. Okay.
Nigeria makes entrepreneurship harder than abroad.
Truth for me.
I mean, I'd have to say it's not an easy one for me, because on one hand there's a reference of what I did in the UK, but also easy access, easy opportunity, lots of opportunity to be an entrepreneur. When you're executing and operating and doing that business, very hard. So it's the balance. So I don't know if I can pick an answer. Sorry.
-1 for you, Mark. Okay. Success solves money arguments.
Truth.
True.
To a large extent. Mostly truth. Yes.
And then last one, hospitality is a soft business.
I think I've used the word hard a lot today, right? Already. Myth.
Yeah.
It's an industry with lower barriers to entry, 100%. But what you require, the foundations, the character, that's the hard part, 100%. And that's why you see places opening and closing. This is why you see a lot of celebration around renders and building and construction, but not a lot when it comes to the operating. I think we're very proud after 6 years. There's a number of companies here that we kind of almost like to associate ourselves with, who are the long-serving, standing businesses that have stood the test of time. And that, I think, is really a true testament to a business that makes sense and is probably doing mostly the right things in order to survive.
Good. That wasn't too bad. Well done, guys. Okay, cool. So I just want to sort of, as we're wrapping, I want you guys to speak, as you kind of have been, to be fair, but to sort of aspiring founders or people that are aspiring to be involved in the industry that you guys have been in for 6 years now. On maybe let's start with a mistake to avoid. Maybe there is a particular thing that people probably come into the industry thinking or trying to do that from your experience now you're like, maybe don't do that. Is there anything that comes to your mind?
If I have to say anything on that, I think my experience is don't always think about scaling, making the business huge and big. You can have a small business and be successful. I think that over the years, we've had a lot of people say to us, oh, you should become bigger, you should have more locations, you should be everywhere. And that's not our belief, and that's not our vision for the business. So you can have a small business and have a vision for a small business and make it better, scale in a way that you make the business better every time, every year. Improve your business, invest in your business. You don't need to have 100 rooms to have a successful business. Our business is profitable, and we are so
manageable.
And that for us is one of the secrets of the success of Jara. I don't know what we would do if we had 100 rooms, and that's not even something like
from the get-go.
Absolutely. So I think that it's okay to start small, and it's okay to stay small. And I think we got inspired even from East Africa. East Africa have pioneered, you know, hospitality and tourism in Africa for many, many years. And they've attracted, you know, tourists from all over the world. And places that you go there, a lot of them are quite small. And they're still doing well. And they're able to give you that personalized service that you can't really get sometimes in bigger hotels, bigger groups. So I think don't get, you know, too bogged down by all this big words and, you know, big businesses or big ideas. Or you must borrow money, you must find lots of money, you must have, you know, if you don't have 100-room resort, you can't. But I mean, look at us now, we're here on a podcast and our business is somehow on the radar. You know, people like yourselves, and it means we're doing something right. And we have 20 rooms, so I still think we're small. But
as I think our journey isn't as shiny or fancy as a lot of other journeys, or a lot of other, when you're saying sort of what would you suggest to people looking to do the same, there's so many, I'd almost, again, references being whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram posts, content around business development and consultation and things, 99% of that doesn't apply to Nigeria whatsoever. So to hear whether it's somebody in America or somebody in the UK talking about how you should build your business doesn't apply here.
No.
So I think, and so it's that relevance and understanding about the nuances of this country. But once you get your foundations in place, again, starting somewhat slowly. I mean, we see it a lot. We almost, not to say we're in our own lane, but we're in a pretty somewhat different space to when you're seeing all these Forbes covers who a few months later are now on some fraud list. It's, we just, again, it's like, oh, there's another one. And again, maybe greed got the better of them. Maybe again, there's a mismanagement of what they're looking to do. Maybe they felt they made it too soon, and they're celebrating too early. Whereas for us, we're just slow and steady kind of wins the race, I guess.
That's really good advice.
And I think that's solid, because the way you guys have started, and you're just adding a step gradually, and with that you can solidify, you can consolidate very well before you move to the next one. And with that you are building structure that is that is going to be long lasting, because the people that are going on that journey with you, they're going to be part of what is going to be propelling what's going to happen in the future. That's
so you know, it's been 6 years now. Looking forward, what does that look like to you?
So we have a new venue loading.
And actually, you're the first people to hear this.
You heard it here first.
You did. So we have again a bit on the beachfront. It's coming very soon. February is what we're aiming for.
Oh, that's really good. February 2026.
So we're actively in construction mode at the moment. We are producing, or are aiming to produce, Nigeria's first overnight glamping campsite.
Whoa.
So sort of thing, again, in the same way with what Jara is, it's can you get an international experience abroad, but that feels abroad, but here. We're doing something that I loved to do previously. We've camped in previous places, and it was that sort of thing. I thought, as long as I'm going to be in Nigeria, I won't camp. But now I will, and other people will as well. If you would like to come,
going to be?
It's a forest project, so it's not at the beach, and it's towards or in Shangotero, so halfway down the express. Still in Lagos. So very much again.
The same access going to Jara, so it definitely makes sense for us. And I think we kind of explored the beach scene. We looked at other opportunities. We didn't feel like anything made sense, because with Jara, it was definitely like love at first sight. Something clicked, something happened when we saw that property, and it just hasn't happened since. Even though we went to the other side of the lagoon and, you know, through the Leko stretch, and we just felt, look, I think that we've done what we want to do, and we can continue doing that. And then we thought, what else is missing? Because people are still, you know, they're craving experiences. And we are now living in this experience driven industry. You know, hospitality is no longer just I will go anywhere. You're now thinking, what am I gonna
people are craving for that experience, to be honest.
And I think we're ready. You know, people have asked about it, but you know, it's never been done on a particular type of scale that we're trying to do it. Just to tell you, it's going to be small, Jara way, but it's going to be something that will be unique. And there's very few forests in Nigeria. We admire so much that there is still people who are into conservation, preserving the natural environment. I mean, we could become just buildings and buildings and buildings, but there is still a few places. So we are going to try and, you know, really get the best of that experience and have people enjoy it and have a digital detox, leave your phone and just listen to the birds and look at the trees. And that's kind of
the only experience I've had like that is at IT in Ibadan. Yeah, that's the one that I've had. And to have something in Lagos like that, that would be cool. You know, I remember that there used to be a time, long time ago though, when I come to Nigeria and when I'm on annual leave and I come, my little baby, I say, I've been on holiday. I said, Nigeria is not holiday. That's what she used to tell me.
A lot of people now still like Nigeria is not holiday.
But now, you know, when we have places like this, you know, that you have pictorial evidence that I experienced, people will be convinced. Yeah. Well done, guys.
Yes, honestly, you guys are absolutely amazing, and
I think we deserve it. You know, we deserve all the. You know, we deserve it in Nigeria. We deserve to have, you know, international experiences. I know we're already trying. There's a lot that is being done, but I think we need to embrace who we are.
Yeah.
You know, and take what has been done. You know, before everything has been done internationally, they've been doing it, but just make it,
bring it, and
bring
people
it
travel.
here.
A lot of people go out,
Absolutely.
So even the money that you're going to spend on flights, just spend it on this experience. Yeah,
I know what it's like traveling with children. We're like, oh my goodness, you know. I mean, and then sometimes when we come here, we're like, I don't want. Why is it so expensive? And I'm thinking in my mind, I was like, but if you really think about it. If we are honest with ourselves, it's not that expensive, right? We need to also value what we have. This is our offering, exactly. Let's not make everything cheap here and expect us to grow.
Whatever across the
We
shop
can't
is
grow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jara, the Jara,
Jara team from the Jara Empire. Thank you very much.
Yes, and you guys give us Jara with.
They gave us
the exclusive.
Jara experience.
So I love to see it. Honestly, it's amazing. It'd be interesting. Yeah. I'm not sure if I could do it because I don't know if I have the patience of the saints that you guys have. But it'd be interesting to see if like any of our viewers think or do currently do business or work with their spouses. It'd be interesting to hear about, you know, how that works for you guys. Yeah. It seems like Mark and Millie just clicks somehow. So yeah, tell us if that's something that you guys engage in at all. How do you guys go about it? Like how are you both still alive and married and you haven't missed somebody's hair out?
And marriage is not suffering. Yeah,
exactly. But of course, please do patronize Jara in every sort of manifestation of it.
And if you have,
let us
know about your experience.
Yeah, do. That would be. I haven't been to Jara yet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I said yeah.
Exactly. So please let me know if they're not just coming here to sell me.
So just tell us,
tell me the
let
real
others know too in the comment section your experience. Yeah.
Please do, and of course like, comment, subscribe. Also follow Jara. What's your handle, guys? You guys have social.
Jara Beach Resort NG.
Yeah, on Instagram.
On Instagram. Yeah. So please do follow.
And you have a website too, don't you?
Yeah.
JaraBeachResort.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
there we
be
go.
flashed on the screen. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye. We are joined by Sarah Donald, content creator, entrepreneur, proud Japadite.
Yes, she's a proud one.
A proud Japadite. Came back home and you got stuck in, clearly.
Yeah.
She's already given us tips and tricks as to when to meet the 1%.